Hello, everybody. Tom here from the Doctors Collective. Welcome. I'm just going to set up Instagram as well because we're going live on a number of platforms. So let's go live on Instagram and then we'll begin. Excellent. Welcome, Instagram. All right, I got Facebook and YouTube here and Instagram there. Welcome. We're going live today. I'm going to be going live regularly, talking about amazing things that are going to help you, live the life that you want to. Grow your business, enjoy the process, and live the life that you want. And the first step is this, right? The first step is planning it. And you probably heard a lot about New Year's resolutions or planning the year and all this kind of stuff. And a lot of people do that, and I've been doing it for many years. Every right before New Year's Eve, we sit down and we plan out what we want to be doing for the next year. And setting goals is good, but the problem with that is that often, and you probably have this experience, you set these goals like these specific outcomes, right? For example, you want to make $1 million, or you want to reach this particular goal, pass this exam, or go on this holiday, or achieve this particular thing. And then you get there, and it's like, well, that's good, but is this all there is? Or maybe you've burnt yourself out, or you've worked yourself crazy trying to get there, and the quality of life you're leading isn't amazing. Now, a lot of the doctors that I speak to and entrepreneurs have a similar kind of a journey, and so they kind of parallel in a number of ways. So I'll give you an example. So for a lot of doctors, the aim is to get through the exam, get through your exams, get through your training, become a specialist, and then I'll relax, and then I'll enjoy the process. Hello, welcome, Icon. Welcome to the live. So we have set these goals, and then we work and work, we hustle, we grind to get there, and then we get there, and it's like, well, what's next? Like, is this it? It's not what you expected it to be. And it happens for doctors and entrepreneurs. So for doctors, the way it usually goes is, I want to get onto a training program. Then you get onto a training program. It's like, I've got to get through this thing. And you get through it, and so I'm going to want to become a specialist. And then you become a specialist and a consultant, and then you're working your butt off. And it's like, okay, well, is this all there is? I'm kind of tired. When they get there, when you get there, it's not what you expected it to be. You don't feel the way you want to. You're not living the life that you thought you would be, and you have some of the material and the stuff on paper. On paper, your life looks great, but the experience of your life isn't as good as you'd like it to be. Now, I've got Facebook and YouTube here, and I've got Instagram there. So I'm just trying to keep eye contact with both groups because there's a lot going on. But yeah, so, and then doctors fall into this state of feeling really flat, and depression can kick in, and you hear a lot about that on the news. For entrepreneurs, the way it often goes is that we get started, and it's a bit of a hustle grind to get things going, and we set these big goals, make $1 million, $2 million, 200,000 a month, whatever it is. Set these big goals, and then we get there, and we've worked our ass off to get there, and then it's like, well, again, is this all there is? Is it worth making the extra money for the price that we're going to have to pay in terms of our health? Let me just get this camera set up. And burnout can kick in for a lot of people at that point as entrepreneurs. So they're kind of similar. They're kind of parallel in a number of ways. And what happens at that point is that then, this might happen to you earlier or later, but often for doctors, it's at that, became a consultant stage. Maybe been working in it for a little while. You've got a little family, young family. You want to be spending time with them, traveling, but you're working all the time. And for entrepreneurs, it could be having reached those initial milestones and goals and be going, you know what? I've got the house, the car, the holidays, but I'm kind of feeling a bit unfulfilled. And so what we need to be doing is kind of shifting our what it is that we want to be aiming for. Okay, so rather than going for the numbers and the figures and the things and the stuff, rather looking at, all right, what kinds of feelings do you want to be experiencing every year? How do you want to feel? What kind of a life do you want to lead? What kind of experiences do you want to have? Who do you want to be helping? Those are the kinds of things that, imagine having those throughout the year. And you know what? You also need to hit some of those financial goals as well to get there, but that's not the goal of the whole thing. The aim is to live that life and make that impact and feel those feelings and have those experiences that you actually really want. And that's what you actually got into all of this for, right? Let's focus on those. And then all those other stuff, the financial and the milestones hits after that. Now, this is what we do with a lot of our private clients, where we sit down with them. They're often doctors who are looking to do things in a big way, in a different way. And they're usually consultants with a small family, specialist surgeons or specialist medics. And they have this big vision for the life they want to be leading and the impact they want to have. But they don't know, they can't get that out of their head and onto paper and then create a practical plan to get there and then actually get there. So we help them to do that. But what I wanted to take you through today is the planning process that I go through, my wife and I go through, and our team, and we take our private clients through, so that your year isn't just about hustle grinding your face off to try and reach these goals, which are unfulfilling anyway, but instead you can focus on the feelings, the experiences, the life, the habits you want to have, and the experience you want of the following year, and also reach the other things. So it's a 3-step process that we go through. And it goes from, so the first step, I want to go through each one and then we can go into them in more detail. So number 1 is to review the year that has been, because there were a lot of amazing things that happened. There are a lot of great lessons that came out of it that we can take going forward. Number 2 is really articulate what it is that you want. Welcome, Frontier Psychiatrist. So really pinpointing what it is what experiences, habits, feelings you want to be having. And then number 3 is creating a practical plan on how to actually get there. What are the numbers you need to hit? What's the 90-day plan to actually start getting there? So we're going through from, where you've been, where you want to be, and how to actually get there in a practical way. So let's go through those 3 steps in a bit more detail, because if you sit down to actually do this, and even just one of the steps, it'll give you so much clarity on where you've been and where you want to be going, and how you can actually do it in a way that feels a lot better, and actually enjoy the process and feel really great about doing it. So let me set all this up. I'm setting a commitment to go live every day this month, in the lead up to February, because January is a really exciting, starting fresh, making changes, doing cool things. And a lot of our clients are like, right, enough of the excuses. Let's go to the next level. Let's live the life that we want to. And so I'm going live every day this month. And so I've got this set up. It's not perfect, but I thought, and my approach is, let's not wait till everything's perfect, because then it's paralysis by analysis and you don't get anywhere. Instead, let's get it going. Let's get started and refine as we go. So I'm doing that here. I've got my setup here. I've got Instagram here. I've got Facebook and YouTube here. So let's jump into it. So a few days ago, between Christmas and New Year's, my wife and I came into the office, and we've got this massive whiteboard. It goes it's about three or four times, maybe up to 5 times the size of your average whiteboard. Covers the entire wall of the main part of the office. And we cleared it. We sent the baby to the mother-in-law, who had a great time looking after her. And we had all this time to plan out the year and where we want to be. So we went through this process. We started off early. In fact, I've got some stuff in my eye. The morning of, so we cleared out the whole day. I think that's a really important part here. Hey, Jeff, welcome. Clearing out a whole day to make this an intention, like a serious thing you actually want to get done. So we cleared out a day, and in the morning I went to the beach. It's my usual routine, but I did it that day particularly well, relaxed, had a coffee, went for a swim, had a great time, got into a really great state, and then came into the office, and we were really pumped because we knew that we were going to make steps forward in a really great way. So then we started off with the first step, which was review the year that has been. So this is kind of broken down into 3 components in itself. The first one is writing down all the highlights of the year that you've just had. Think about all the big and little things that were great from this year. Now, what you'll find is that every year has its highs and its lows. It's great things and it's crappy things. And we're going to address them both. But what we want to start with are the highlights, the great things, the great experiences. I mean, our year last year was great. We had a lot of high points, a lot of low points. Some of the high points for us were going on safari with Sir Richard Branson and getting to know him, going to Africa for the first time, going on safari and also hanging out with Branson and getting to know him, eating with, having dinners and lunches and hanging out, having a laugh with him and sharing good times with him was a big highlight for us. As well as being able to, our daughter, at the start of last year, was only like 4 months old. And so she was barely crawling, probably not even crawling. And then she went from crawling to taking her first steps to walking to running and starting to babble and say a few words. So it was an incredible year in that sense as well. And so you want to pick out little things and big things just to kind of get all of the highlights, all the things that went really well. And it's a really great process. It feels really good. And it also gives you an insight into, what are the things that you really enjoy that you can possibly take into the future as well. So that's that, do it as much as you can. We had a whole section of it full for just mine. And then Marie had the same thing for hers as well. She was writing down on pen and paper while I was doing it on the whiteboard. And so that's the first part of that. The second bit is, what were the lessons that you took out of the year? Now, we want to frame these in the positive, right? It's not like, don't trust people or something crazy like that. Or it's not crazy, but, it's kind of, we want to take the positives out of the tough times that we've had so that we can be better moving forward. So to give you an example, one of my big lessons was that, for many years I was going for the external things will make me happy. Now, the external things, I'll get the car, I'll get the holiday, I'll have incredible family, incredible wife, be in great shape. I'll have all these things and then I'll be happy. And then I can collect on all the happies. And then I got there and I'm like, where's my happy? Where is it? Well, the truth is, for what I realized, it doesn't come from external things. It comes from internally, right? We have that place within us that where the happiness and the satisfaction, the fulfillment lives. And we need to be able to tap into that and live it. Now, circumstances can affect your happiness, or I found that, they can affect my happiness. But have you ever had times when everything outside of you is going well? Like, you've got all the things and the stuff that you've always wanted and you're living the life that you wanted, but you feel like crap. That starts to kind of made me realize that, what, there's more to this happy thing than having all the stuff. All right. Yes, the stuff is nice, but you can also get there and not be enjoying it. So for me, that was a big lesson. It's not like, the stuff will never make me happy. Well, yeah, that's true, but not at the same time. But more importantly, happiness comes from within and finding that place within me to be able to pull it out every single day, no matter what I'm doing that day or what challenges I'm facing or what highlights or whatever. Where is that place? How can I feel it? How can I tap into that every day? And, part of that for me is going to the beach and having a routine and thinking particular things and getting myself into that place. So that was a big lesson. That's what I mean. That's an example of that thing. That's point number 2 of the first step. What were the big lessons? Again, write them down, big and small, as many as you can. Frame them in the positive so that you can take them forward and be going well. Number 3 is, what are you willing to let go of? All right. So what are you willing to let go of? It can be physical things. It could be people. It could be for one of ours, it was we're willing to let go of the office. So for the last couple of years, when Marie fell pregnant and we were having the baby, we got an office. Now, before that, we were traveling 6 months of the year. We'd go internationally and work from our laptops and from wherever we were staying at that time, with Croatia or south of France or Poland or London or the US, wherever. We'd be working from our computer 6 months of the year, and then we'd come back to Australia. And then we settled down, We got the office and we kind of got settled in here, but then it's more than what we need, and it's not the life that we want to be leading now. So we're willing, we're ready to let go of the office. The other thing, it might be patterns of people. There might be some people you're willing to let go of because they're not serving you. Some of the lessons may have come from being in close proximity with some of these people. So we want to, as great as these lessons are, we want to let go of those people. Or it might be letting go of particular ways of thinking or feeling, right? Trying to run away from fears rather than towards goals and things you want to be feeling. Letting go of those, the need to be afraid of those things. It could be kind of like that as well. So you can write down what those things might be for you. So there we've got the first step, which was to, do it in front of the mic or behind the mic? I think behind the mic. The first step was to review the year that has been. So, and the way we do that is we look at the highlights, the lessons, and what are we willing to let go of. And at that point, you've kind of, I find that at that point we go for lunch. We go for lunch or late breakfast because I often, push breakfast back. We do the intermittent fasting at times, so kind of push it back. But anyway, so we went for breakfast at that point, a brunch, to kind of feel good because at that point you feel really great from the year that's been, and you kind of start to process some of the things that have been, and this is really great to do at the end of the year or at the start of the year, where we process the last year, the lessons, the highlights, and it feels really damn good no matter what your year's been like. Whether it's been a great year, a happy year, or a mixture of the both, because you're taking a lot of the positives out of it, and it's kind of like you're shedding the year, taking the great things with it, and you're moving forward at that point. And so then when we got back, we did a bit of a meditation to clear our minds and get really excited and pumped up. Whatever you want to do to get pumped up. Maybe you want to listen to music, or maybe you just want to just get into it. Whatever it works for you. And at that point, we wrote down just number two was point number two, that the step number two of this process is to write down not the things you want to have, not the money goals or the usual things like, I want to learn 1,000 languages, not that kind of stuff. I used to do that. The way I used to set goals was, what's all of, I used to go, all right, what are the health goals I want to achieve? I'd go through all the categories, health goals. All right, I want to put on all this weight because I'm naturally a thin guy. I'm like, all right, let's bulk up. Let's put on all this weight. Let's put on extra 10 kilos of muscle or something. Or I want to be able to do cardio in an incredible way. Or I want to make X amount of money, and I want to have this car. Or I want to go on these holidays, and I want to pass this exam, or I want to learn French. Or I'd set these. I'll go through the categories: the health, the relationship, and a relationship goal. Going through those categories, I find it's almost like it puts me back into that old way of doing it, of trying to hit the goals for the sake of hitting goals, which, as we were saying earlier, ends up being really unsatisfying and unfulfilling because you bust your ass getting there, you get there, and it's like, well, is this it? I'm miserable. I feel tired, exhausted all the time. Yeah, I've reached these goals, but I'm not enjoying life. So what was the point of it? And I'm not fulfilled, and I'm feeling really dissatisfied with the whole thing. So I want to move away from that. And so the way that I did it was like, all right, so the way Marie and I did it was that, right, how do I want to feel this year? Right? How do you want to feel this year? What are the feelings you want to have? You want to be happy, fulfilled, content, satisfied, confident, whatever it is for you. And number two, what are the experiences you want to have? Do you want to go bungee jumping? Do you want to go on explore a new place? What are the experiences you want to have? What are the lifestyle components? What are the habits you want to be having? Maybe there's a few things you've already got in place. Like for Marie, there's a particular training program, not a medical training program, but a skill that she wanted to learn. So she wanted to get better at that skill. So camping, says Jeff. He wants to do more camping. Yeah, totally. You want to do more camping? Write that down. And where do you want to go camping? With who? What circumstances? Write that down as well. So what kind of experiences do you want to have? What kind of habits? What kind of a lifestyle do you want to be living? And just do a brain dump. Bang, it's not things there might not be things you feel like you can achieve this year. It doesn't matter. Just write them all down, and don't censor yourself. Just write it all down. That's the first step. Brain dump. Number two is to organize it. Organize it in categories that work for you, and that might end up being personal, relationship, education goals. But we don't want to be. That's okay if we've already kind of written down the first step are the experiences and then organize them. I don't want to go the other way where you've got this whole list of, education. I need some education goals. I need some relationship goals. I need some hair care goals. I need some whatever goals. You don't want to, because then that way it's like goal setting for the sake of goal setting. I mean, you can give it a go if you want, if you've never done it before, but I find that doesn't really help. So we do it the other way around. And once you've written down the experiences, the habits, the lifestyle factors, the feelings you want to be having, then we categorize them into a way that works for you. Now, for me, it was the way it ended up categorizing it was the feelings I want to be having, the habits that I want to be developing, because habits for going to the gym 3 times a week, and enjoying the process, not just going there to try and put on 10 kilos of muscle. Different kind of experience of going to the gym that way. So I'm just going there to enjoy the process and to look after myself. So I ended up categorizing it into feelings, habits, experiences, and then work. And so work goals. But while Marie ended up doing it into the personal, she had 2 categories, personal and business goals. So whatever kind of works for you, categorize that there. Cool. So that's the second step of this 3-step process. The first was, so we're talking about the 3-step year planning process that we're looking at here. So the first step was review the year that's been. The second one was write down what you want to be experiencing and feeling and doing in the next year. And then number 3 is, what do we need to do to make this happen? Okay, so the way that we did this was, we had it all written up on the board, and we said, okay, what do we need? What resources do we need to make this happen this year? And often they were pretty much 2 resources. It was time and money. So we need to allocate time to whatever, and whatever, it might be other things as well. It might be particular. So for me, some of it was work, personal development work was going to help me to maintain or experience some of the feelings that I wanted to have. And so you'll go down the list and you write down, what are the resources, what are the things, just kind of not in a very detailed way, just kind of generally, what are the things that need to happen for you to get there, for you to achieve those things. So it was, it'd be it time or money or particular knowledge or contacts or people or that kind of thing. Write it down. And then we want to quantify this stuff. Okay, we want to get a bit more detailed. Okay, so how much money do you need to be able to achieve that? And how much time? What kind of time? What happened for us was the main things we needed to pinpoint was the money that we needed to do those particular things, and then the time, the people, the skills, that kind of thing. And then we want to list that out and kind of organize it into the things that need to be in place. So what's the total sum of money you need to make this year, or who are the people you need to be in touch with? And then we start to we start to really crystallize it into specific things that need to happen, right? And so some things might take a little bit longer, some things might be able to be done pretty quickly, but we want to really start to get more specific about what has to happen. Now, if you don't know what has to happen, then who can help you with that? Who are the people in your life that know how to make this stuff happen? Because here's the thing. You either know how to do it, or you can figure it out, or there's someone who's done it before you and can help you show you how to do it. So whatever it is that you want, at this stage, you might be thinking, you know what, I need to make an extra 100,000 or 50,000 this year, but I'm in a fixed income job and I don't know how to do it. Well, there are people out there who can show you how to do it. Or you might say, there's a particular skill I need to know. I need to learn how to package my ideas into a product that I can get it out there, but I don't know how to do that. Well, there are people who can show you how to do that. or I want to be able to feel really good in my body and feel really energetic, and feel really healthy and feel really good about my movements and how I live day to day. Well, there are people who can help you to do that. So you might not know exactly what the steps are, but you can start to list people who you can start talking to help you to do that. So, and then we want to get a lot more specific. So there's the year-long thing, right? But the thing is, once you get through the first 3 months, the plan's going to change, right? The process of getting there is going to change. Now, if you've just joined us, welcome. I've got Instagram and I've got Facebook and YouTube here. I've got Instagram here, so I'm kind of moving between the two, trying to keep eye contact with everybody, but it's a little bit difficult. So bear with me. So once we've done the kind of planned out the things that need to happen for each thing, we start to bring it together into a 90-day plan, because at that point we can be more specific and really targeted with what we're going to be doing over the next 90 days. And then once that 90 days is coming to an end, chances are things will change and evolve. You'll know more, and the time frames might change, be shorter or longer, or all the same, but you're doing different things, so you have to adjust at that point. So then we put into a 90-day plan what's going to happen in the next 90 days for you to start getting towards that goal, and then breaking it down into task, when it's going to happen, whose help you need, and how you're going to make it happen. And then you get started with it, right? And that way you can make sure that you've got the steps in place, and you're working towards things that are not just goals for the sake of goals and things that look good on paper but make you feel miserable, but rather it's a great experience of life. But you're also having the things, but more so you're having the experiences and the feelings and the leading the life that you want. So awesome. So I think we've covered that really well. If you have any questions, type them in. Somewhere around this video there will be an ability to make a comment. So send us a question, and so tune in tomorrow where I'll be talking about, what are we talking about tomorrow? I'm not quite sure, but we're going to be talking about cool stuff, and I'm going to be going live every day this month to really get you going for the year, get you set up, get you excited as a doctor, as an entrepreneur, or both, and help you to live the life that you want to, and make this year a great year. So all the best, and I'll speak to you soon. Let's end all of these different sessions I got going here.